I'm back. It's That's So Vegas with Christine McKellar, and I'm here with Morgan St. James, who's a fabulous mystery writer.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. We're going to be talking about a number of things. I've also written several books. I haven't been quite as successful as Morgan, but there's a reason for it. And we have some books here that she's written. Interesting thing about you is that you actually started as an interior designer.
Yeah, I
She
did.
didn't set out to be the best-selling author or anything.
No, I never thought I was going to be an author. In fact, I call myself an accidental author.
That's cute. I like that.
Do we have a minute? I'll talk about how
Yes,
I got
please.
into it.
Yes.
Yeah, I was an interior designer, and we'd done some celebrity houses and things like that. And there was a very slick West Coast magazine called Designers West at the time. And they approached us and wanted to know if we'd like to do an article for them. And my partner and I said, absolutely. You know, I mean, this was our credibility. We
For
were
your
going to be in a
designs.
top-rated design magazine.
Right.
And the clock was ticking away. They sent photographers over to photograph us on the floor that the article was about. It was supposed to be a techie article, you know, about how we did this floor from packing crates. Well, all of a sudden, we realized they had the pictures, the deadline was approaching. We had no article because the problem was we weren't writers.
No copy.
We'd grabbed at it, you know. So a couple nights before it was due, we sat at my house drinking wine and commiserating and trying to figure out what we were going to do. And then we got this spark of inspiration, and we said, no, you know what? It's probably going to get rejected anyway, and the editor's going to be really mad at us. So let's do it like a noir mystery instead of a techie article.
And then wine-infused noir mystery?
Oh, yeah. The
there
more
you go.
wine we drank, the
more
better it
mysterious
got.
it got. That's great.
So we finally wound up with something like, you know, we were sitting in our studio drinking wine when the phone rang. Went into the whole thing, and we submitted it, and we figured we were going to get an irate phone call from the editor about the page that wasn't going to have an article on it. And she called us laughing. She loved it and wanted to know if we wanted to do more articles. And my partner was also an actress, and she said, no, I've got enough going between design and acting. I said, I'll do it. And that's when I started writing.
That is amazing. I mean, talk about a lucky break. And
Yeah.
but as Mona, my previous guest, probably would have said, you're such a open, energetic person that was the God and the universe was waiting there to. Was it difficult for you? And you do now. Mystery is kind of, I think, intricate because you have to take the reader along without giving the plot away and all of that. So how hard was it on your first couple books to get the plot going? Did you do the Bible thing like some do with the post notes and
Do you
all that stuff
know,
going on? Or
my sister and I started writing fiction
keep it
together.
in the family, great.
Yeah, we were both published writers, but neither of us had written fiction.
Oh.
And when my mom got sick and she came down to LA from Alaska to help me, we had hardly known each other because she moved to Alaska when she was 20. And we decided to write our own mystery series. We discovered we had so many things in common. So, yeah, I mean, we figured, hey, we're both published writers. This should be a snap, no problem. And we knew zip about writing fiction.
Interesting.
And we went through so many different methods of trying to plot our books. And the thing is, we had an interesting synergy because my sister is trained as an editor, and she is one who massages every word. It has to be absolutely perfect.
I got ya.
I'm a fast track person.
So-
I sit down and I churn out a chapter, and then I send it to her. I don't do any editing because I know that she is going to tear it apart.
There you go. Yeah, and
But
words,
it's okay because
yeah.
that's our agreement.
Do your characters ever conflict, or how do you deal with that?
You know,
Or
we started out, well, Phyllis and I were raised in a zany family. And so it was really easy for us. Our first books, The Silver Sisters Mysteries.
did you bring a copy to show?
I did, and you know what? I was going to show you. You had the question about
the covers. Okay, but we'll talk about
Okay.
the silver.
Yeah, but this is the current Silver Sisters, the first one in the series, and this one was named Best Mystery Audio Book by USA Book News.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and this a while back, but
That's
still
okay.
figures. This was the first in the series, and we are now working on the fourth book in the series.
And that's the one we can jump around here a little bit. Well, I had one of my questions was how important is the cover? I've heard so many different things over time, and you can't judge a book by its cover, etc. But you would disagree with that based on your experience with this, or?
Not so much judging. I mean, although judging, I mean, if you've got a really crummy cover, people are going to assume the book's no good. It's just human nature.
Right.
You know, if you have a cover that looks like it was made by loving hands at home, you figure that that's going to be the quality of the book. But with today's digital books, whether they're Kindle, Nook, whatever, with all the digital bookstores, the cover to me is really important because it gets reduced down to a thumbnail size. It needs to be readable at that size. So many covers are designed.
Don't worry about that.
Okay,
I'm here. That's my job.
But so many covers are designed where when they get reduced down, you can't even read
That's
them.
a really good point that I hadn't even thought about.
And this is a good example.
Okay.
A Corpse in the Soup actually went through.
I love the title.
Uh,
I do. I love the title.
But this was our publisher's cover, and as you can see, the lettering isn't real clear. This is a little bit congested over here, and when it reduced down, it wasn't really a compelling cover.
I could see that. Yeah.
I
Visually,
mean,
yes.
the title did it, because we had the description, but the cover wasn't something that people would zero in on and, oh, I want to see that one. So this publisher, unfortunately, went out of business a couple of years ago.
Darn it.
And it was tragic. One of the partners died. The other one couldn't carry the business on and gave 200 authors back their rights, fortunately.
Well, at least you got your rights back.
Yeah.
So the second.
This is the current edition
And
of
who
it.
designed that, if I'm...
Well,
The
we went the route
sister.
that so many people are going. I had 5 books with the publisher that went out of business, and we decided to go the self-publishing route and set up our own imprint.
I've done it.
And my sister is a graphics designer.
It's the sister in the soup. She did the cover?
Well, it's a joint.
But
a
it's
joint thing.
much
I found the
better.
illustration. She
Beautiful.
does the layouts. We designed the copy
Clean,
on the back
I like
so that
that.
it was very clear to read.
I like it a lot.
And people have been drawn into this cover on the net.
And when you compare it with the other one, that's a huge
Well,
difference.
Let me put them
I mean,
side by side.
yes,
You know,
that's
you can see the difference.
so.
Plus the size of the book.
Yes,
Now this one is the 8.5
Trade.
by 5.5. This is 6 by 9.
right.
They both cost the same thing. But
Right.
when a person gets the 6 by 9,
Oh, you're
they
blocking your
feel that
That they
it's
have
worth
more book.
Yeah.
Yes, I think this is a perfect example for people who often ask that question.
Yeah.
And I think, does that apply to humans? You can't judge the book by the cover.
Right. But you know, I would say as a bit of advice, particularly to new authors, have your cover designed professionally.
Oh, we're going to talk in the next segment too. I think we're going to cover a little bit more of that for you who are just starting out. There are so many. And I wrote 3 novels in 3 years. I refinanced my home.
Good for you.
And I thought I could do my own marketing, etc., and editing, because I had done a little bit of all that my whole life. And I tell you what, in hindsight, when I look back, I would have hired professionals all the way around, including I would have hired a professional New York publishing firm to market my books. But that's another story, and we're not here about me. We're here about Morgan. I'm sponsored by the Red Roof Inn on Paradise across from the Hard Rock, and we will be right back to answer more of your questions and help make you a best-selling author. Be right back.